Good morning. I would like to inform you that the disclosure of this session will be ensured by broadcasting on the web TV of the Chamber of Deputies. I would also like to remind you that our colleagues are able to participate remotely as allowed by the Committee on the Rules of Procedure. On the agenda is an informal hearing with a delegation from the Sudan Liberation Movement. On behalf of the members of this committee, I would like to welcome and thank our guests for taking part in our session. Mr. Abdel Wahid Al-Noor, good morning. Mr. Ibrahim Adam, good morning. And Mr. Mohamed Abdel Ghazeg, good morning. The Sudanese delegation is accompanied by Mr. Impagliazzo and Ms. Francesca Caruso, representing the community of Sant'Egidio. Today's hearing aims to examine the latest political and social developments in Sudan. In this regard, I would like to recall that at the UN Security Council meeting on the 30th of October, the UN Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs, Tom Fletcher, denounced the atrocities perpetrated by the Rapid Support Forces in El Fasher, which is the capital of the Darfur region. Since the RSF militias took control of the city, there have been increasing reports of mass killings, door-to-door searches, sexual violence, and attacks on humanitarian workers. Over 90% of children in that area have no access to education, and over 24 million people in the whole country, 40% of the population, do not have enough food. Yesterday, we had a meeting here at the Chamber of Deputies to denounce the situation in Sudan and the situation in Al Fasher specifically, and we asked for a humanitarian truce, which is being negotiated in Egypt. But for the time being, there is not a lot of hope that it can be accepted by both parties. Following discussions among Security Council members, a statement was adopted expressing deep concern about the escalation of violence, and all parties to the conflict have been urged to protect civilians and to comply with their obligations under international law, including international humanitarian law, as well as to meet their commitments under the Jeddah Declaration of May 2023, which sought to establish principles for a resolution of the conflict and to ensure the protection of civilians and humanitarian access. At the same time, the Security Council urges all UN member states to refrain from external interference intended to fuel instability and to support efforts towards lasting peace, reaffirming their commitment to sovereignty, independence, and territorial integrity of Sudan. We will now give the floor to Mr. Abdel Wahid Al-Noor. He plays a key role in Sudanese politics and has done so for a long time, and he can surely help us better understand the situation in the country. And I would also like to thank the community of Sant'Egidio for their work of the last few years. And I'm sure we will be able from this hearing to understand what are the options, the possible solutions for the conflict in this country, which has been going on for nearly 50 years. So I will now give the floor to Mr. Al-Noor to deliver his speech, unless Mr. Impagliazzo wishes to take the floor first. Thank you so much for this introduction, and thank you for this opportunity. The delegation has been invited to Rome by the community of Sant'Egidio, which is also working together with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in order to deliver humanitarian aid and to support political dialogue. And we hope that this will enable us to improve the very fragmented social situation in Sudan at the moment. We have invited the SLM in Rome to know more about their opinion, their point of view when it comes to the resolution of this conflict. The community of Sant'Egidio has been operating in Sudan for a number of years. Thank you. I will now leave the floor to Mr. Al-Noor.
Thank you, Member of Parliament of Italy. Thank you, Dr. Paolo Sant'Egidio. By the way, Sant'Egidio, we have a very, very long relations. Since 2004 until today, we resume this relation for searching for a lasting peace in Sudan. And I really appreciate them that they continue consistently care about Sudan and they want to bring peace in Sudan because of their values as a community. Thank you. I would like to thank all of you here, and I would like also to appreciate that Italians are concerned about Sudan. And we in Sudan believe that Italians and Italian government and people, they're a friend of Sudan. And we are here because we want to also emphasize that this relation will continue. And our belief is that this will be a last war in Sudan. And we are here also to see how all of us work together to see lasting peace in our country like any other country, hopefully like Italy. We are here to tell you that when the war breaks through in Sudan, nearly 3 years ago, our position was from day one was clear that we are neutral. And if you ask why we are neutral, SLM want to create a secular, liberal, federal, democratic Sudan based on equal citizenship right, and the region should be separate from the state. And this vision could not be done with SAF, because SAF are Islamists, and you know what Islam is. And could not be done with Rapid Support Force, and you know what is Rapid Support Force. So we remain in this position. Good thing is that this position gives us as SLM a leverage of when we are not neutral. It means that our area, the area which control of us, for the moment it has 9 million Sudanese. 3 million are indigenous and 6 million are IDPs across the country, from Khartoum, from Al Jazeera, from White Nile, from Kordofan, and of course from Sudan, from Darfur. Sorry. This allows us and enable our area to be like a safe haven to those people. And you know that SLM was able to provide security for them, and also able to provide at least security and some shelters, because SLM requests indigenous. Those indigenous of Jabal Marra area and surface Jabal Marra, which is bigger than Belgium as a state, we request them and people disturb their shelters with them and their food, but we are not able to provide more than that. We are not able to provide food, we are not shelters, we are not able to provide for them medicines and etc. And really it was a nightmare for us when rainy season came and roads were blocked because of flood. And we thought twice and saw that it is not a right idea to depend on UN, because UN cannot provide every time. So we request from the people whom are land owners to shift their land for 2 reasons. One is for self-satisfaction, to provide food to their families, to themselves. And second, for business reason, is also to make food availability. I will go through this very quickly, and we thought that it was a very successful idea, and we bridged that gap of lack of food and with success. But now, SLM is in a prison dilemma that we are not able to provide food because we don't have. We don't have also medicines, assistance. We don't have anything beside providing security. Our belief is that SLM did the best thing, but it's not enough. And we are here to discuss with you what can all of us collectively do to assist those people. Second, in our country, Sudan needs a ceasefire, and a ceasefire for humanitarian, and also permanent ceasefire. In Sudan also there is 4 sovereignty for the moment. Sovereignty of SLM, which is under SLM control, and this is a complete, like an independent state, but SLM is not calling for separation of any part of Sudan. We are union movement. We want to unite the movement, unite the country. We want to unite Sudan, but in a new role, which you know that Sudan is, a mosaic country, a country of Islam, country of Christianity, country of African belief. There are people claim that they are Arab, like us claim that we are an African. There are other claim that they are not Arab, they are not African, but they are Sudanese. So our vision is that be as you are, be Arab, be Muslim, but do not force this idea to the others. We want everybody to be as him, as a group or as a person, but not informs your identity to others. This is why we are calling for equal citizenship right. Our hope that Sudanese to love each other, but at least if they are not able, let us recognize each other to live together like as you are. And we do believe Italian symbol is completely like our symbol. Here, I will stop. As SLM, what we did, we initiate that we want to retain December Revolution and December Revolution goals. We initiate as SLM initiative that all Sudanese, those who believe in democracy, civilian in particular, we want to retain December Revolution entities and December Revolution goals. We call upon all Sudanese political parties, armed resistance group, civil society, tribal chief, and etc., all of us to come together and sit and create a bigger civilian bloc for 3 reasons. First, to stop this war and end it. Second, to retain December Revolution entities. And third, to retain December Revolution goals. And we are about to make a miracle. Everybody came on board. There was a small dispute between SPLM North and Umma Party. Umma Party is a religious political party, and SPLM, you know, it has a 40 years beside SLM, led by us, that we want to change this country. They're indifferent that for the phrase of secularism, SPLM North continue with the phrase secularism, and Umma Party said that they accept the meaning, but they want this meaning to be break down. They accept the meaning, but not the phrase. And when we are in this debate, first, suddenly, TASIS, which you know is political body, have been formed, and now they support RSF. Emerge and stop us. Now we return with the same initiative, the same way, and we are here to get your support. And this support will not come with a phrase only. It's need a financial support. It's need also diplomatic support, and also it is need logistical support. Thank you. I will stop here, and we are ready for questions.
Grazie mille, dottor Al-Noor. Chiedo...
Thank you so much, Mr. Al-Noor. I will now ask my colleagues who are participating remotely if they have any questions. I have some questions myself. Should I start, maybe? Yes. So I do have some questions. We saw how terrible the humanitarian situation is, and we were told yesterday about it. We've spoken with Médecins Sans Frontières, we've spoken with different communities, such as the community of Sant'Egidio, which operate in your country. So I would like to ask you if you have any news about the city of Al-Fasher. I think it's important to share news with the committee about this city. What are you most concerned about? And from your point of view, what is the situation like from a humanitarian point of view? I think this will be my first question, because we do really need to talk about the humanitarian aspect. We will ask a series of questions, and then you can answer them all together. The second issue I would like to raise is about the composition of the conflict, so to speak. So what are the main obstacles to solving this conflict? The interference of external actors, which have different interests in Sudan. Is it difficult to satisfy the requests of one party or the other? And the third question is about the role of the EU and Italy. Of course, we've spoken about the role of the community of Sant'Egidio in bringing the two parties closer. But from your point of view, what can Europe do? What can European countries do? And how can Italy do its part to help Sudan? Our idea is that our perception is that all European actors were not interested enough in what was going on in Sudan. But maybe you have a different perspective. I think my colleague, MP Boldrini, also wishes to ask you a question. Good morning. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Impagliazzo, for organizing this hearing. I would also like to thank and welcome Mr. Al-Noor. He has spoken about the situation in Sudan, and in his speech he has already spoken about the humanitarian crisis, the lack of medicine, of food, and the need of a ceasefire. That's what I would like to ask. What is the end goal of this conflict? To further separate Sudan? Is that the final goal? After the loss of South Sudan, is there a political project to separate Darfur from the rest of the country? Is the sovereignty of Sudan under threat? Is the unity, the very unity of Sudan with all its provinces and regions under threat? And who is interested in supporting this political project, provided it exists? It seems like in this war there are external interferences. We've spoken of the United Arab Emirates and other countries as well. But why are they interested in supporting a party to the conflict? What is their interest, the interest of the United Arab Emirates, in supporting this civil war? And is there any real willingness of ending the war? You were saying that citizenship rights need to be equal, no group should prevail. Sudan is rich in different ethnicities, different religions. But how can we ensure respect and coexistence? The war in Darfur has been going on for many years. We all remember the Janjaweed. And we all know that part of the Janjaweed group became the RSF militia. So there is this attempt to Arabize the population, the African population, so to say. How can we move past this stalemate? Thank you so much. Thank you, and Mr. Al-Nur, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam, Miss Yu. To talk about Al-Fashir, you know that war breaks through in Al-Fashir after a while, after the war breaks through in the country. In that time, SLM initiate that Al-Fashir, and now we want to talk about Al-Fashir. Fashir is the capital city of Darfur, and also was a big region of Sudan was under control of Fashir because of the Sultanate of Darfur. This is one of the oldest sultanate on the continent. It was before Judaism and before Christianity and before Islam. And in Islam, they were giving relief to Al-Kaaba, Mecca, more than 450 years. So it's a great history, great sultanate. And as SLM, we initiate that. I personally, as Abdul Wahid, I studied in Al-Fashir High School in Darfur. They call it Darfur High School, biggest school in the country. And also, we initiate that the war has not to break through. We want Al-Fashir to be a safe haven to Sudanese people, to people from Darfur, from across the country. And we know Al-Fashir has a lot of infrastructure. So people of Sudan and people of Darfur can take it as an advantage. And we initiate also that we as SLM, as a neutral force, we will take over Al-Fashir not to be our air territory, but to be safe for Sudanese people. But unfortunately, most of the warring parties, they agree, but there are very few that personalize it, that if they are not in Al-Fashir and they're appointed as the governors or anything else, so they will not be in a position to claim that they are governors of Darfur. So it was rejected as a personal, not as the public relief and the interest of Sudanese people and Darfurian people. So as you see, war breaks through, and Fashir, although it has everything, it has completely destroyed. And now Janjaweed or RSF is control Al-Fashir. And as we see, and you see, the humanitarian disaster It is a catastrophe stories. Those who are rich in Al-Tawila, which are under control of us, people told about massacre, about atrocities, about the nightmare of them from Al-Fashir till Tawila, which is like a 60 kilometer. And really, really, it is a disaster to hear those atrocities and those terrible stories. Hopefully, this will be a last war to our country. Another question was, what is the main reason of fighting in Al-Fashir? Fighting is not in Al-Fashir. Fighting is at the cross of Sudan. It starts in Khartoum brutally, and then to Al Jazeera, and then to White Nile, and then also to Kordofan, and now Kordofan is continuing, and then Darfur is the last area. So the main reason for us as SLM, it is a power struggle between RSF and SAF, between Islamists and RSF, between people, between both of them. They don't want civilian governance. They want to militarize our life, our political life. And all of us, let us here to unite it. It is not RSF. Who created RSF? It was a militia of Janjaweed who killed and raped and did every bad thing in Darfur. And then it was a Shurta Zaina, which is a right police, because there was a lot of resolution from Security Council condemning Janjaweed militia. And then it was بيقولهم شنو يا جماعة it was بيقولهم شنو there is, and also it then became board guard led by Musa Hilal. When Musa Hilal, we secretly make a negotiation with him, he disagree with them, and then they create Rapid Support Force. And you know better than me, when Rapid Support revolt against them, against these Islamists and SAF, they dissolve them and they retain guard board. So it is a creation of these Islamists. It's not a problem of Janjaweed militia. It's not Rapid Support Force. It's the one who create them. And before they create popular forces, Difa al-Shabi, and then they create in South Sudan, they create also Mujahideen, they create Murhalin, which is an Arab tribe in South Darfur and Kordofan, and then they create the Babin, they create, now here in Sudan, they create joint force, they create Binadum Shunubita Barraun, they create a lot of militias, and they're there. So if there is a company produce bad product, the problem is not the product, the problem is a company. The company who is producing all of these atrocities. It is Islamists in power, and all of us, let us unite. And you Italian, I would like to tell you very frankly today, and I'm here, we received 6 million IDPs. Minimum, if we don't receive them, 3 of them, they will be here. Because there is no any hope for them except to cross the desert and to come to Libya and to come to Italy, because the nearest place. So we have interest, mutual interest with you, to work together, first to stop this war, to relieve these IDPs there, because we are running out, we don't have any resources. Without working with you as the first source, believe me, we will be hopeless because we don't have money, we don't have anything to relieve them. And then they will have only one option, to go through this desert. Some of them will die, some of them will die in a Mediterranean, but most of them also will be here. So this is the reality.
Mayor, I have another question.
No,
Scusa,
if you allow me to
Presidente,
finish.
potrei
Laura
fare
non ha
un'altra
finito,
domanda?
scusami.
Ah, scusa.
Sorry, we're not over yet. Sorry. Please go ahead.
You ask me what is a role of Europe and Italy in particular. If you ask me about European Union, we believe that European Union, they have interests and they have a biggest role, and the biggest role is first to work with us to succeed this initiative, to create a civilian coalition, to retain the December Revolution goals and objectives, and we are nearly to do that. But we want you to help Sant'Egidio to achieve that, because through Sant'Egidio, which is a friend of all parties, including war parties in Sudan, and including others, political and military bodies, to work with us to succeed this initiative. And this initiative, if it is succeed, it will be a solution to us as the Sudanese, it will be a solution to Italy, and it will be a solution to European Union. People also ask us, what is a last goal of Darfur in this war? Darfur is not the one who make war. Here in Europe, I would like, and Italy, to correct a point. If there is a problem here in Milan or in let's say Napoli, people are talking the problem in Italy. But in Sudan, if there is a problem in Darfur, people are Darfur. This is not a continent, this is a country called Sudan. So the problem in Darfur is the problem of Sudan in Darfur. In Nuba Mountain is the problem of Sudan in Nuba Mountain. The problem in Khartoum is the problem of Sudan in Khartoum. So Sudan is not a continent, it is a country. Please let us, all of us, identify the problem as it is. It is a Sudan problem, it is not a Darfur problem. Second, we are the one who revolt. 25 years ago, is the regime who create all of these militias which I mentioned minutes ago. So the problem is not a Janjaweed militia only, it's the system of Islamists in Khartoum, and all of us, if we want to stop all of these tragedies, is work with us to change these Islamists, because their vision was here in Italy, was in Europe, was in the United States, was elsewhere in the world. So let us, all of us, make a coalition against these Islamists. And the only way is that to unite Sudanese parties, political and civilian, as the revolution, and then make a transformation which would to create a coalition, civilian coalition, and this civilian coalition end up with a civilian government, and civilian transition end up with fair and free election. People ask who has an interest of this situation. The interest is for Islamists, because people of Sudan make a civilian revolution, and to stop this transformation, General Burhan made a military coup to stop this transformation and then create all of these militias. They called them 3 days ago, 3 days before the war breaks through, that these militias, they came from the womb of the SAF. And now they call them a rebel. So the problem is Islamists in power and para-Islamists in power, whether military or political body. So our enemy here, your enemy, all of us enemies is Islamists in power. People also ask about Emirate. You know that we are here. We are so small than to open a front with anybody. But if you work with us to unite Sudanese civilian fronts, then we will be strong enough in order to achieve our own goal and control our own issues as Sudanese. Then others have right to come to us to make win-win game. All of you, I would like to tell you that Sudan is the most richest country than Gulf countries collectively. Sudan has all of minerals, gold, uranium. The area which we control it at SLM is full of uranium, gold, diamond, gas, petrol, everything. So as a country, we are very much rich, and all of you know that Sudan, before Islamists to be in power, they call us dust of food of the world. Basket of the food of the world. Basket of food of the world. And today we are basket of hunger of the world. Incongruity.
Laura, prego, la domanda è iniziata l'aula, quindi...
We don't have much time left. Do you have any more questions? Thank you for your comments, your explanations. I think that creating a coalition of civilians with the support of the international community can really be the start of a new negotiation process. Mr. Al-Noor, I believe you are also speaking with the Italian government and with governments of other countries, and I would like to know whether you will be meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs here in Italy and will you be having other meetings in the EU as the Sudan Liberation Movements? Were you received by other European countries? Were you able to present your project? And were you able to find support for your solution to the conflict? Europe, the member states of the EU, I wonder if they are interested to finally take part and in the solution of this war. We started in Durman and now it's going on in Darfur. So is there a change of perspective there in the approach of these other countries? And how are negotiations and talks going with different governments? I'm especially interested in the Italian government and other European governments. Thank you.
I will be brief. You know, yes, we have invitation from Switzerland, invitation from Norway, invitation from Germany, invitation from Styria, and of course invitation from France. These are countries, and we think that we are going to expand it. So yes, we have an invitation, and we are going to meet all of these countries. Yeah, second also, which is the most important for us, we have here to thank you, Sant'Egidio, because also they play a major role to have all of these meetings. And also what we as SLM think that and believe that it is our start is from Italy. Yes, the invitation came from Sant'Egidio, but we also aim that Italy to be our first steps, and you are the parliament and legislative body of the country. You should know that when we decide to come to Italy first, because we know how sensitive it is to Italy, because as I mentioned in the beginning, this 6 million, I think that you have enough in your plate and menu, so you don't need another IDP refugees. So please make it as a priority. You are a very important members of European Union and very also important country in Europe. And for Sudanese, you are really friends because you receive in more than 2 decades or 3 decades a lot of Sudanese here, and it is time for us to work together for lasting peace and no more refugees. And our initiative here, which we told now, it is the only solution of how to stop the war and end it and make a sustainable peace in our country. I would like to thank you so much. I never give a chance to my colleague because they have a lot to add, but your time, and if you don't mind, I will give them a floor.
But we have the whole.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much once more, and thank you for Sant'Egidio. I really appreciate this opportunity to address you, and thank you.
Grazie mille.
Thank you. I would like to apologize with our other guests, Ibrahim Mahadam and Mohamed Abdel Razik. But however, we have to move to the plenary. We cannot continue with this hearing. I really want to thank Mr. Al-Noor. During the hearing, we received the news that there has been a new strike in Kordofan. There have been more than 40 victims, and they were hit by the rapid support forces. So we will certainly keep paying attention to what is going on in Sudan, and we will do whatever we can do so that the Italian government can play a more active role. We know how important Sudan is, and the fact that there is a civil war and great instability in that country can have great serious effects for countries of the whole region. It's not just a humanitarian issue, a terrible humanitarian issue, but it's also about helping that part of Africa so it cannot go back to where it was 10 years ago. Thank you once again for your work, and thank you. I would like also to thank the community of Sant'Egidio.